is I, Tentus Naravan Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. It is time to continue my discussion on D20 Modern, the modern take on the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons. Well, where we last left off, we were talking about the statistics of creatures. Let's finish talking about that today. We only have a few more statistics to talk about, so let's just dive into it. Alliances, allegiances, your choice how you really want to say this, but it's whatever kind of group these creatures are normally associated with. There could be plenty of reasons for that, from political to philosophy, whatever. These are generally the group that these creatures are associated with. Saves. These are the fortitude, reflex, and will that the creature will have. This includes both base saves, any kind of specific bonuses or modifiers to it, and their ability score modifiers, all added together. So this is everything already added together. You don't have to worry about doing any math. It's providing all the bonuses, ready, willing, and able for you to understand what these 3 saves are. Okay, action points. Normally a creature has 0. The exception will be if this creature takes levels in a heroic class. When it takes levels in a heroic class, it will get action points. It will get 5 plus half of its character level in action points that it's going to have an option to use. Now, that's technically how many it's gained, but traditionally most characters do spend action points for a number of abilities over the course of their careers. So you're going to assume normally when it's had a chance to do and uses action points, no, it will have half of its total character level. We're not including hit dice here that it would get naturally. We're only including the level, the hit dice that it would have in this heroic class. In this heroic class. So if it's 2nd level heroic class, it would have that 1 action point that you would normally give it. It would have had 6 to begin with, so technically speaking, maybe you want to kind of excuse what it's used the other. So depending on whatever it is, what we use these and stuff. So there is a little leeway in the amount of action points it really ends up on here, but you get an idea. Reputation. Normally it's a 0 modifier. But again, if it starts taking classes in something, it could actually earn a reputation in something and half a reputation. Ability scores. Guess what? This creature, just like you, just like my character, gonna have ability scores. It's gonna have the same 6 ability scores that any player has. There are some exceptions in how they work. With a creature, it could have an intelligence of, well, pretty low. If it at least has a 3 or higher, it will understand at least 1 language. Below that, no. But the other thing is, they can have non-scores. I'm not talking about a 0. I'm talking about not having a score at all. It's assumed that if it doesn't have a score, the modifier will be plus 0. Not any kind of negatives, plus 0. Now, if I have a non-score of a strength, I have no physical body. I can't interact with things. I just pass through stuff. I can't express strength. I automatically fail any kind of strength-based checks. Also, if I'm attacking, I'll use my dexterity modifier to attack with, because I don't have the strength. Now, if I have no dexterity score, well, I can't move. I can't physically move. I'll automatically fail dex checks or reflex saving throws because I physically can't move. Now, if I'm doing something like rolling for initiative for attack or getting into combat, I'll use my intelligence modifier in this case. Can't move, but I can still maybe do stuff with my mind? Now, constitution of nothing. If I don't have a constitution, I don't have a metabolism. Now, this means I don't have like a physical normal body like a person. I might have a body, but it's just made of material. There's no physical, any kind of circulation, any kind of actual life to my body. I'll be immune to any kind of fortitude save that I might have to roll, with the exception of things that would affect objects. Because guess what I am, really? An object. Intelligence of nothing? Well, of course I fail automatically intelligence checks, but the sheer fact is also, I'm running on pure basic instinct. I'm talking basic instinct, and I'm talking like pre-programmed orders. That's what I run on, because I just don't have smarts. Advantage, I'm immune to mind-affecting effects, so mind-affecting effects don't affect me. Now here's the interesting too. No wisdom. I'm not a creature. I am not a creature. I'm not alive, not a creature. If I have no wisdom, I have no charisma. Similar, if I have no charisma, also not a creature, and automatically then have no wisdom. Both of these are needed to not only recognize your own existence, but the existence of other creatures, and tell them apart. Without these, you don't recognize I'm a thing, and I don't recognize that other things are not me, which means I don't really exist. Hence why those are the two you at least need a 1 in to be able to be called a creature. Skills. Alphabetically, skills will be listed. This is assuming this is the basic skills as the creature. We're not using skills that would gain from classes. Those would alter these, but just the basic skills, here they are listed alphabetically. Similar, feats. List them alphabetically, gives you all the information. Any feat that a player may have, creature could have, with the exception of multi-attack, which basically I'd have less of a penalty when I'm using secondary natural weapons. Now let's talk about advancement, because this is a special section that we have to know about. This is, let's say I'm taking a creature and I feel like, this isn't tough enough. I need to make this creature tougher. I can advance it. You can advance it one of 2 ways. It will list under the information which way is appropriate to advance this creature. Way number 1, increases hit dice. It will say you can increase its hit dice to whatever. Also, character classes. That's the other way. It will list, I have to give character classes to advance this thing. But when it lists that, it assumes that it could get character classes. It could kind of say both too. But let's talk about each of these. Hit dice. Now, with hit dice, it will list size changes. This has a lot of effects. Size changes will affect ability scores. More hit dice will affect things like base saves, base attack, skills, and feats. So by changing the hit dice, I change everything. My ability scores change, my skills change, my feats change, my hit points change, my base attack changes, my attacks change, my saves change, my skills, my feats, my everything, they all change because of hit dice. And you're going to have to look at it. Character classes, on the other hand, change very little. You gain character abilities. You, of course, do gain extra hit dice, skills, base attack bonus, but they're added on to the ones you already have. The big thing that's a change is, skills and feats. You get more of them. That's the big change. Now, there are a bunch of charts in the book to help you basically use these 2 advancement rules and understand what a creature would get by using these advancement rules. Going to help a lot to look at them and figure out what it's going to get. Now, the book does list a bunch of example creatures. These range from your normal animals to your supernatural or fantastical creatures that might have FX powers. If you're just using a normal game, normal animals is all you want. If you're using a game with FX powers, then you're probably going to want FX creatures. All of them will just be examples, give some basic information about them, and allow you to, use them if you want to in your games, depending on what's appropriate to your games. But that's it for today. I, of course, first started out with finishing all the basic statistics. We've talked about so many, but I did handle some important ones, like ability scores and advancement. Among everything I talked about, those 2 are the most important, because the ability scores could be exactly the same as any players, or they could be very different. Low intelligence, no scores. These things are things you have to recognize to understand what they mean for your creature. And of course, advancement is to make something tougher, to make it a harder fight for your players, and what that advancement actually does to these creatures, either getting it extra hit dice or giving it class levels. I then, of course, did talk about the basic example creatures that are listed in the book. In the next episode, we're going to handle talking about identifying creatures, understanding them, and then identifying the weaknesses of creatures. So these are 2 important sections to talk about, both knowing what a creature is and, knowing how to kill it. But if you have any questions, comments, anything you would say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe at for the channel, the empire, the work I do. If you want to show some extra support, you can always check out my Patreon, link description below. There's some great rewards there. It helps to grow and improve the channel and the empire. But regardless, until the next time, I bid you farewell.